No, see what I'm saying?
That's all they're doing.
It's not
They
dealing
need to go
deal
through
in
the county.
bullshit.
Well,
We have great discussions.
Listen,
We're not running for election
not.
either.
Go through
Those guys
state.
are running for
Yeah, but-
elections, and then you got
You know
one guy.
what? Nobody even cares.
No,
DEP,
Right.
and that's why I'm not gonna vote on
Building,
this.
like 280?
and everything else is approved except for the city.
And the assholes.
The EPA approved it, DCA approved it, the city.
Kennedy called me
I
up
just
and
have
he
my
said,
dander up.
Yeah, well,
Not doing the veterans.
An idiot coming out of the woodwork now.
I don't think the timing is gonna
Back up
allow
on
it.
the Parkway rest area.
Yeah, no, but,
well, you heard that when,
yeah, we need 100.
was sitting in
I
that
was,
chair.
I was there
Out
when
there
he,
that don't
not
have a,
physically, but
when
was working.
a
he
basis.
came before the planning
So-
board, when they wanted to do the Urchler Road extension,
those
he went nuts.
388,
He went on for like
45%.
45 minutes.
And pontificator.
So I stopped him.
Rollovers and
Listen.
tax credits.
Mhm.
and
Put a rest stop
credits
in
we
there.
got in the
Will
process.
that change your mind?
Okay.
That brought us down from like.
Right out the door.
We're expecting you to go to the next council meeting and defend
Huh?
us. We're expecting you to go to the next council meeting and defend us.
388 are now.
We should go to the next.
You.
Why?
Come back.
For what?
Did you read the article?
I read the article. It doesn't bother me.
And he's gonna come.
It bothers me.
Let him come here and say something.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna do that.
It's gonna be a
Oh,
fight.
yeah. They don't have any.
We
stone.
can't.
They're not gonna cut.
Kids walking on the roof next door.
But
I heard him where it counts, Mike. I didn't
I
give them
said
any
the
money to run
janitor
for their
at
council
Holiday.
seats.
785,
You
I
know, the
forget now.
back of the
it's just the
many
fact
do we
that people
actually have to
calling
build?
me, people I know, asking why you always making all these decisions on the Board of Ed, you should know better.
Aside
No.
from the
Maybe
credits.
they're gonna
Because of
jump.
that stupidity. And when he
That's-
sat there, what did he contribute to this board? When he
Huh?
sat there, what did he-
I said,
what did
they
he
don't
contribute
get
to
off
this
call
board
time.
when he was here? He can. Should.
You're gonna be.
Well, that's a question I have
You
to
know,
ask
do
you.
it how they
Because
got it.
all three of them, or two of them, Ricky and, what do
Well,
you
that
call
would be
it?
a challenge.
And Fatso
Yes.
sat on this board. When did they sit on this board and what did we do then?
Yeah,
He
exactly.
couldn't even turn the prints around right.
I know,
Can he?
I know, that's exactly my point.
Well, he knows damn
And
well.
Orlando was on this board too when I first came.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he didn't last too long either, because he kept on sticking his foot down his throat. Listen, we can't let the other people on Johnson's Lane do it, but since you're an old family, we'll help you out. He said that right here. All right, it's 7:30. What if we say the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Maganon, how about leading us?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that honor.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, have we complied with the open public meeting laws?
Yes, we have.
Thank you very much. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bello.
Here.
Mr. Hudkevich.
Here.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Miss Lee.
Whoa, it's loud.
Mr. Lembo.
Yeah.
Mr. McEnon.
I am present.
Miss O'Leary's excused. Mr. Velosa. Mr. Ty.
Here.
Miss Mandello. Mr. Rogoff. Here. Mr. Cornell.
Here.
Mr. Leon Cavella.
Memorialization of resolutions, we have none? None. Acceptance of minutes from June 7th meeting. If
Mr. Chairman, I
everybody
make a
has-
motion, we accept those minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any questions on it, on the minutes? If not, I'll have a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We'll accept the minutes into the record. Communication agenda. Mr. Boehm, you're up.
I had written a letter with regard to the application that I was here last month on to ask that you would again extend that till your next meeting. My client is out of state right now and trying to determine whether or not to come before this board on, without the two-family issue or go to the Board of Adjustment. So we're still weighing the pros and cons of going where, so I'm asking that it be continued for another month, please.
You have no problem hearing it.
Just make sure that we're putting, because we gotta preserve his notice.
You have to reserve your notice for that?
Yeah, I would like to reserve the notice, and I did put in my letter that any time constraints with the board, we agree to any extensions and all extensions.
Anybody here on this matter?
Is there anybody here on this matter?
So you indicate that on the record there'll be no further public notice. What's the rescheduled date?
June 19th?
July.
July 19th.
I said the
All
matter's
right.
gonna be rescheduled for June
The
19th.
matter's going to be rescheduled on June 19th with no further notice, and July 19th, and there will be no further public notice.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'll advise the board before that date.
One way or the other?
One way to-
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Can I ask, do
Go ahead.
you at all contemplate going beyond the 19th?
I'm not sure. If we come before this board, no.
Okay. I'm only concerned with carrying the case.
Right, I understand. I don't like it either. If we go before the Board of Adjustment, I would have to redo service anyway, so that's a little different.
No, I get that. Okay, so let us know either way.
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, how do you pronounce that name? Warzinski. I shouldn't, Warzinski. Are you done now? That's it? Or on that one? You're here for the other one too, huh? All right, for the minor subdivision?
Yes.
Okay. You want to bring up whatever you want to do?
I would like to. I think the board has a copy of the sketch that we provided, but let me tell you why I'm here and provide a little background to this, because one might look at this application and say, what are they here for? Just come in and get the subdivision. This property has been, hope that's not me, has been in the family since 1923. My client's grandparents initially bought it. My client is right here. And she now is living in the property on her own. And it's a rather long, extensive, big property, as you can see. And she's had it listed locally, but there's a couple issues involved with the property that has created some confusion, not with this board and not with me, but I think with some of the folks that work in town hall who really aren't related to this board in any way, but people go see them and they say, oh no, you'll never get the subdivision, you don't have enough frontage, you don't have enough width. There's a whole litany of things that they say. It's complicated a little bit by, if you look at the sketch, that the Borough of Sayreville owns what is designated as Lot 9. The borough acquired that. The developer across the street that developed the Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
Pardon me?
Sherwood Forest.
Sherwood Forest, okay. I can't keep that, I should, Robin Hood, right?
Or Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Sherwood Forest. Apparently, the developer owned that piece, and it just laid there for a while, and he didn't pay taxes on it, and the borough acquired it through a tax sale. So that's how the borough acquired it. One of the interested parties that wanted to purchase the property wanted to try to buy this from the borough. And the borough, in their land committee, I think Joe Cups is the head of that, basically said, no, you can't buy it, or if you buy it, you'd have to pay $100,000 for the piece because you're going to develop the piece, in fact. And we just, that's crazy. What we're proposing is to retain the house that my client would live in and develop the property into 2 lots, the remainder of the property. And you can see the survey itself was done by Carr Engineering. However, my client has drawn in the 2 lot lines that would be for Lot 1 and Lot 2. And we've estimated the square footage of both. You can see one would be 21,000 plus square feet, and the other would be 31,000 plus square feet. This is in an R7 zone. 7,500 is required. The lot width, you can see, is much more than the 75 feet that's required.
The depth is 109. Where the issue became is, well, frontage. And if you look at your zoning ordinance, you have to look at two different things in order to get to that. The zoning schedule basically talks about lot widths and lot depth. Lot width in this zone is 100 feet. Lot width. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
75 feet, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's R7 zone, 75. feet
75 feet width, 100 feet depth. If you look at the lot width, 75 feet. But then you have to go look at your definition section for lot width to determine that lot width is measured not at the front property line, but at the setback line. So if you set back 20 feet, you have more than enough width. It's in the entire property is your lot width. So in essence, it is my view that a subdivision could be granted without any variances whatsoever. You have more than the lots fully comply with your ordinance. The actual access to each lot, one lot would have access of 40 foot wide, certainly more than what you need for a driveway for a single residential family. And the other lot I calculated based upon the scale of the map to be 45 feet wide. So you certainly have enough area for access to each lot. So the reason we've come here is to get your feel on this, because this way, quite frankly, part of the audience is our realtors, so they can hear what I'm saying and what you're saying so that we can hopefully market this property. And that's pretty much my presentation. I'd like to have some input.
Well, I hate to see anything built on it, but I'm sure it's gonna be. I used to play baseball there when I was a kid, with the old apple orchard. Thank you for letting us use it. John, you want to comment on this?
Mr. Chairman, we talked about this, and I just talked with Jay, because there was, back in the ordinances before 1998, the zoning ordinance, I think there was some indication that was somewhat different with the portion of the frontage on the property line. But that's no longer the case now. The definition is, as Cappy said, the distance between the side lot lines, lot width is measured the distance between the side lot lines at the front setback line. So you go back 20 feet, so that would be on these rectangular lots, straight back, parallel, and you would have more than enough of a dimension of greater than 75 feet. You might be able to get more lots out of that, but they want the 3 lots, so that, or the 2 extra lots, and keep the lot with the structure on it. So I would have to say right now we don't see any other variances needed, because you can get that, achieve that setback of 20 feet very easily. So, but if you think,
You're saying you don't see any variances, right?
yeah, right now, the lots are 3 times bigger than they have to be or more. We should see, I think, you know, a site plan on each one so we can figure out exactly where it's gonna go. And
Yeah, the reason why we came for informal, quite frankly, is, as you know from the professionals, it's rather expensive to do all the engineering and do the site plans, so that we were hoping that a buyer, we could get a buyer, and as part of the deal would have the buyer come in to apply. But basically what we're coming here for is we have the concept, we have basically, if the line in between the 2 lots you're creating moves a little bit, maybe it'll move a little bit, but it certainly won't affect the entrances to either lot, and it won't affect the lot width and depth to the point where the properties wouldn't comply. They're going to fully comply. And we've had people come and are interested in maybe having 3 houses here. We felt that that would not be appropriate based upon the access, although maybe at we could configure it to get 3 lots instead of 2. But quite frankly, the better configuration is the 2 lots.
And there's no wetlands on the property, is there?
Well, that may be an issue. There may be some wetlands, we don't know, but obviously that would be part of the engineering that would have to be done. And the topography also might be an issue with the property, but that would be all part of how a house could be built. But that's an issue, I think, for down the road, not for this informal. We basically need just some direction so that, quite frankly, the tax assessor and others don't say it can't be done, because I think it certainly can be done and should be done.
Well, having grown up there, I realize that property's been sitting there, and it really does look out of place now, because there's nothing but houses. There's houses on top of the hill, there's houses across the street, and then you have a fallow lot there. I don't even know if the kids play ball anymore there, no. But having grown up there, I personally like the idea of the 2 houses. I'm sure you could get greedy and try to cram in 3, but I think 2 nice houses there would look nice. That's my personal opinion. Well, anybody else have any feelings on this?
Yeah, I think it looks fine. I don't see any issues.
I agree.
Dennis? Michael, 2 better than 3? Michael's on the school board. He doesn't like any
Well, I
houses.
know, but this is not the NL site, with 2,000 going in either.
That's
It's
my,
just
that's
2.
my point, you have longtime residents that
Yeah.
own the property. It's smart planning for the neighborhood, so,
Mr. Vice Chair,
I would have no issue with it, especially since it's a clean
you good?
application.
Well, I think you have your direction there, Cap.
I think I do, and
I
thank
think
you for
I
that,
think if
and
you
I thank you for your
come
time,
before us,
as
you're
always.
not gonna have any problems.
Okay, all right, thank you
Only if
very
it's gonna
much.
be 5-bedroom houses, then I might have.
That one big lot, you could get a nice mansion on it.
You can have 3-bedroom houses with more people in them. Yeah, exactly.
I know, been down that road.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Vernon.
Have a good rest of the summer.
You considering variances if they've ever been granted?
Yes. Okay, if they're creating a new line, if you put the lot line in and create a rear yard variance, that's one thing.
I'm not talking about looking at the creation of this line.
The front yard, existing front yard variances, that type of thing.
So those are previously non-conforming, so they pulled out the zoning official, does he hold them variances? He doesn't.
But when it comes to the board, it would be noted as a pre-existing variance.
But it's a variance, it's gotta be granted by somebody.
It was granted.
It's pre-existing.
Yeah, not granted by somebody.
But I mean, 2 houses.
Pre-existing performance, right?
Since 1923, probably.
Let's assume
She lives in that house.
two existing, and he creates 2. Come before the board, you show 4 variances, 2 would be pre-existing.
There are going people that should.
When the area was developed, why didn't you do that?
So he has 2 pre-existing non-conformities.
It's on that one
The
dwelling
answer
there.
was, how did you guys deal with those
Yeah,
lots
yeah.
behind it?
I know where it's at.
Pre-existing
They've had that property for sale for a long
Once
time.
you look to subdivide the property, this board can look at those pre-existing non-conformities.
You can do that as part, right, the board will look at that.
Okay.
And we can either,
You can make them do something with respect to them,
or nothing.
or nothing, and grant them.
I mean, the house has been there forever.
I get it.
Well,
But now you get a shot at it.
her mother used to beat us. She had a beautiful peach tree and a pear tree. She caught me up in her peach tree one day and beat me.
And that's probably, you deserved it.
I did.
Stealing the woman's peaches.
I was.
What's the matter with you?
I was hungry. We were playing baseball, I was hungry.
All right, I get it.
All right, any old business?
No.
Any new business?
Yeah, I have some new business.
Okay.
I think we all saw the article in the newspaper And just to educate the folks that are on the planning board that were not here when the Camelot issue that was brought up and why that wound up the way it did, and I just, asked Jay to refresh my memory, because I was on the board when that happened. If you recall, that development was supposed to be age restricted.
Yes.
And was it Corzine? He was the governor at the time?
Yes.
That converted that, and it was sponsored by a local assemblyman named not to be mentioned. And at that meeting, a couple of residents, if you remember, from Town Lake came after that conversion. They were concerned about why market rate apartments would be built there, because that's what we wound up with. And we
Right.
denied that application, we litigated, and we lost.
Right.
Okay? So we're being criticized, because it's always easier to criticize than be correct, that we failed on an opportunity to have affordable housing put there. That's what the article states. If the reason was that people don't know, because I got phone calls and all that kind of stuff, what is the planning board doing? Why aren't you looking out for the town, all that kind of stuff? The reason we did is we don't want any market rate homes there, and not just say, because of course the developer said, sure, I'll put some affordable housing there if you let me build the rest of that stuff. I mean, that's the reason why the planning board said no, but that seemed to miss the application, and the person that made the complaints wouldn't know the difference anyway. So, first of all, Mr. Lembo, you sit on the council, did you defend us?
It was brought out that, those laws changed when Corzine left office, and that's how the change was made. That was Corzine's parting shot in New Jersey. So the age restricted was able to go to the market.
Then why is the council, and I know your stance on this, feel that they need to hire another planner?
I
do
did,
what
I voted against it.
I know you did. Our planner and the planning board is supposed to do. I mean, I have issue with that.
Everyone has their own agenda, Mike.
I know, but we're volunteers here. And how are you gonna get people to volunteer their time if you're gonna be criticized when it's, they know better than why the decisions are made?
Disagree with you.
So, I just think that somebody, and I'll carry the thoughts to go to the council meeting and defend this board, because I take exception to that.
I thought about doing that, Mike, but I don't know if I want to get into,
I think we should, Tom. I really do. I think we need to say something. I mean, we were all being criticized in that article in the paper.
well, we are, but look who we're being criticized. I don't want to stoop down to their level.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I would like to correct that.
But it's a matter of correcting the record, because you look at Disabled Parents' Facebook page and everything that's going on there, we're a bunch of incompetents. And then one of your predecessors from a while back is leading the charge,
Is what?
is leading the charge.
Land.
And
Oh, yeah.
spreading a lot of misinformation.
Sure. And that's rounding up people who don't know any better, listening to that.
I think we need to set the record straight and to save that $10,000 that they want to pay for another planner and give it to us.
My initial thing, if we are incompetent, then I say the whole planning board just resign, let them make the decision.
Yeah.
I got
Well, I have no intentions of resigning.
I have
and
other things to do on
and
Wednesday
and
nights.
and I'm certainly big enough to take a little criticism.
Well, if the
but I mean-
implication that I'm not, I'll take exception to that too, Tommy. 'Cause I've been here for, 14 years now, and I mention every time that we make a decision in the best interest of this town and our understanding of the land use law and taking council's advice, that we're criticized. It's always the planning board, and, and everybody does it on the council. Even the guy that sits in the same, it's the planning board recommended. I'm doing what the planning board recommends.
Yeah, but we recommend to the council, and the council makes the decision. I have no problem going there and saying, look, we make recommendations, you guys make the decisions. You can't make a decision, that's your problem, it's not ours. We're following the best legal advice that we have. You think we need another planner? I says, I don't think so. So, I mean, if you want me to go there, I have no problem doing it.
Tom, how do we get an article in the paper? Because it seems like some of these meetings that we have here at a planning, there's nobody from the news is here, but yet there's articles in the newspaper where they've interviewed you about what's happened at the planning board meeting. How do we get an article in the paper to correct what was said about us?
No, and we don't want to go down that road, do we?
I just want to correct what they said about us.
You can always send a letter to the editor if he's so inclined.
I don't want to send a letter to the editor. I'd
I don't
rather
see
have-
anybody ever coming to the meeting saying anything about anything. You're hiding behind a
No, you
computer.
don't. You don't. But you read about it in the
Well,
paper.
they go to the council meetings and they moan and groan, and we've had people that have sat on this board criticize us for what we're doing. I was gonna ask the secretary to find out when they sat on the board, so when they start criticizing us, I'm gonna say, well, you sat on the board when we did that. Now, I don't know when Buchanan sat on the board, but he sat on this board, he couldn't turn the blueprints around quick enough. He had them upside down. He said, I don't know how to read these. I says, turn them over. I says, and, you know, it'll make a little better sense. And I don't care if he was here, I'd say the same thing, because he did it, you know? So, I mean, we've got people criticizing us that don't even know what they're doing, and I really don't want to get in a row with Robinson. I have no use for that man. I don't think he's worth the effort to do anything. It's all about he doesn't want fair housing in and around him when we allocated it all around different towns. They're gonna waste $10,000 of their money, that's fine by me. But, I mean,
Yeah,
if
but
you-
their record is to pay for a consultant and not follow what he recommends. We've already seen that. All right, Mr. Lembo?
It's happened
Yeah.
more than once.
They did the same thing when we talked about the houses the last time. When we in the Mako property, when we talked about putting ShopRite down there, they got a planning with the trucks, and
I remember.
it was 15 to 1 more trucks than cars, and they still wanted it. You know, I mean,
Listen, I'm open to criticism. I get criticized all the time in other capacity. But the fact is that we don't have a mechanism to get the truthful information out there. This is a complicated thing, this planning board, understanding all these laws and what all these things are, and we're volunteers.
I understand that, Michael, and you've done a great job
Just
over
to
the
educate
years.
people about what the decisions are up here and why we make these decisions, you know?
Well, if we go to the council, we're going to basically say that you people are incompetent because you didn't listen to us.
Well, I like that message. Listen, Tommy,
I'll see you at the next council meeting.
no problem.
I don't have any problem either, but, you know, maybe it'll be fun, you know.
You know, I've always tried to do things in the best interest of the town I live in.
I think everybody on this board has, and I sit here year after year after year thinking that we're probably one of the most nonpartisan boards I've ever sat on.
I agree.
You know, I mean, we go about our business in a thoughtful manner for the best of the residents in town.
But
Some people in different areas might not see it that way why we do it, but I think overall, we look at the whole town as itself and try to make it work.
We have a very professional and competent engineer and planner on this board. And for the council to say that we're gonna hire somebody because we
We're
don't,
not doing our
they're
job
not doing
right.
their job right, that's just, that can't go,
Well-
you know, I mean, I take,
You know, you have to look at it, it's all political. It's all political, and I mean, if, the only thing I can say is with politicians, every November you get a chance to do something, and the ones that are making the biggest noise are the ones up for election this year.
Well, can you find out who was on the board when that
I'm-
application came? Was Palando one of them?
I don't know,
Yeah.
Orlando was? All right, we will find out for that, and we will have that information before we go to the Borough Council.
Good.
You know,
But Mike, I agree with you as far as setting the record straight, possibly at a council.
I don't want to sling mud, I just want to
Planning
set the
board
record
has gotten
straight.
a very bad rap lately by some members of the council.
well, since you'll be at the next council meeting, you help us out there. Use big words, I won't understand what you're
There
talking
you
about.
go.
all right. Anything else under old business?
It's new business.
Anything under new business? When is the next council meeting?
Monday.
26.
Monday. I can be here Monday.
Yeah, and my understanding is that's gonna be a harrowing meeting.
Yes, it is.
What's on the agenda, Mr. Lembo?
You have 4 ordinances.
Number of
Oh.
things.
Just go
Might as
late.
well go when everybody's gonna be there.
Might need a bigger room.
I may wind up saying something on TV I shouldn't.
All right. We don't have to go to an executive session. We're done. I need a
Public portion?
motion to open up the public portion.
I'll make that motion open public.
Second.
Anybody in the public wish to speak? Anybody in the public wish to speak? Seeing no one.
Motion to
wishing
close, Mr. Chairman.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Our next meeting will be July 19th, unless otherwise noticed. We don't have anything pressing before that.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Mr. Chairman, I observed Mr. Kelly really adapting very well to this vice chairman position.
I like it too. He's stepping right up
I mean, he makes motions and he
with no prodding at all,
Unbelievable.
you know? Makes
Talent
me look,
of God.
makes me look good.
When, who's,
Lake, the Camelot at Town Lake project, was- I think that's what you want to know, the members.
That's fucking
Well, yeah, Town Lake,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think it's like 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's the time.
Oh, you wanna know who's on the board in like,
2008, 2009,
I think that's
2010.
when it started, and then
That's all.
the board denied it, then with the litigation, then there was a settlement agreement. There's
thank
no
you for the
doubt.
list of the whole board then.
Well, I don't need the members, I need the political members, the liaisons, like
It'll
Buchanan.
be on your list, right,
Yeah.
every yearly list.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, right.
Because this way, when they're gonna say, I can say, well, look, you were on the board. How can you criticize something that you did? You know, one of them sat on that board during that
Yeah,
time.
and I think we know who it was.
Yeah.
Have a good Fourth of July, guys.
Take care.
Matt, is this for me?
Yes. Save them all for you. No, only save them for you that has something to do with.
Got something to do with something.
Should go out.
Came the back way, I forgot the carnival was going on. I got halfway around and go, what the hell's all that smoke from? I'm going, oh man, the ribs are up.
First night, yeah.
We going for pizza?
I got one check, yeah.
Whatever you wanna do.
So we're in the system now.
See you Monday night?
See how quickly.
This letter,
Yes.
this letter I got yesterday, I have to do a separate invoice and voucher for that thing?
Which letter?
Yeah, are you involved in
Yeah, I guess PK, I did a prior invoice on it. Let's say I get something that there's just no app on it, I gotta do a separate,
Just hold it and incorporate something.
I mean, it's almost like I'm required to do a separate voucher for everything.
That's how anybody, I think they just try to. It's really what you're using your time for, so if you're using your time on some application, you're like this, so look how quick this was.
Right.
They could put another half hour on that.
Yeah, you know what, sometimes I forget to put the meetings in, because I'm not used to billing for the meetings. Mine says, you know, I get a per diem rate for the meetings over in Woodbridge, I don't bill.
You gotta
I
get,
gotta remind myself.
you gotta get reused to do it, everything, everything's different.
I just don't wanna go there and smack somebody.
Okay, Chairman, boss.
Thank you, bud.
After.
See, they wouldn't be concerned with your fault.
No, I think you guys will.